right, everybody. Welcome back to the Popular Demand Podcast. This is your boy Cameron, and today I got with me my loyal co-host Cord.
Sons Nation.
I got with my boy Delon.
What it do?
I got with my Jordan today.
You know what it is, Jordan, Murder Mitten Cowboy. What's up?
I got my boy Jaquez with me on.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Cam.
And we got a full slate today. We also got John on.
How you been? How you been? Chaos is a ladder. Keep the 40 over like a Zubak.
Yo.
Oh, shit. You know what we do? We give you our takes on basketball, music, and everything in between. This is episode 96 of the Popular Demand Podcast. This is our second YouTube video. So if you are listening to this podcast on using Apple, Spotify, or whatever you use to listen to the podcast, then know that you can also go to YouTube at Popular Demand Podcast, and you can watch the actual video of us recording on Zoom. So make sure you check that out so you can see all our hilarious gestures as well as our faces. If you didn't catch what we did at the beginning, everybody changed catchphrases for this episode, and we got Cam to introduce it. Shout out to Cam, that was good. So, starting with the first topic of the afternoon, I want to talk to you guys about Usher and the Weeknd. This past week, there was a slight misunderstanding between the two. I think Weeknd said, I think it was like an interview, and like this news outlet took a clip from the interview where the Weeknd said that he heard Climax, and he was like, hold on, this sounds like the Weeknd. And it made it sound like Usher was biting him on Climax, to which Usher took offense to it, took to Twitter and said that, have you ever seen the moon bark back at the dog or something like that, some shit like that. That's a bar. I don't know if I quoted it right, but that's a bar. And which is also funny because at the same time, the Weeknd was on Twitter saying, look, that's just news media outlets trying to pit us against each other. I will never feel that way about, you know, and then like the producer said, like, yeah, I borrowed inspiration from Usher, and that's why it probably sounds like, you know, House of Balloons and stuff like that. But it's funny because Usher was on the other side, was like taking offense to it. He was posting a video of him singing while laying down, trying to flex his vocal cords. Guys, was this a big misunderstanding? And whose side you on, Usher or the Weeknd?
Listen, I'm not sure if it's so much as a big understanding as much as Usher is just like left out of the loop. Cause like the Weeknd's quote was like, yeah, I put out House of Balloons. That was my debut. It was amazing, the impact it had, you know, when I heard Climax, the producer, the production, blah, 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 blah. Also, yeah, all that makes sense. And then Usher's like, no, it's not, blah, blah, blah. And then Diplo literally says, yeah, Usher, it kind of was. Like, that's was my plan. So, you know, I think Usher just can't really say anything if it just was like, and I don't think the Weeknd was literally talking about like Usher just bit my style, but the music and the ambiance of the track of Climax, I can see how it would be similar. And I can see how Diplo definitely took inspiration.
But but like that quote itself made it sound like, damn, I was listening to Usher like, oh, he that dude, but this sound like me. So it made it sound like he was saying that what came first was the Weeknd and then Usher.
No, he said what came first was the Weeknd and then Climax specifically.
Yes.
Not just Usher. He said that one specific song, and then that one specific song, that one specific producer said, yeah, you're right.
But like I said, like other people, and then it made people on Twitter argue between Usher and the Weeknd musically in terms of their music and like who's better. To which the Weeknd, you know, he has a gigantic following, being a pop star and all now, saying that they think the Weeknd is better than Usher. Would any of y'all be bold enough, or would y'all have that take? Do y'all think the Weeknd is better than Usher?
Are we talking like historically, or are we talking like right now?
Right. Okay. So right now, I think we all would agree that you would most likely rather hear a Weeknd album than Usher. I think everybody would feel that way. But historically, is the Usher better than Weeknd? Is he?
Well, historically, I think Usher's music is better than the Weeknd's, but the vocal range is a little bit more impressive.
So,
hey man, we do a lot of things on this podcast, but what we not finna do is disrespect Raymond.
Raymond had the better catalog. What you mean?
Talk to him.
We ain't disrespecting Raymond out here.
Catalog. All I know
Hey,
is
man.
somebody who had to study music for 4 years. That man, The Weeknd, doing some impressive things in them little that little dilly bop album.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like The Weeknd, and I get what he was trying to say. I just feel like his comment came off a little spicy, and I personally don't think he meant it that way. But when you the two lines, you tend to cross them sometimes. It be like that.
I just know from my limited hearing The Weeknd sing live, like at BET Awards, all them award shows, that range that like you hear in the music, you don't really hear it live. So it's a lot of voice adjustments in his music compared to Usher, which is what Usher tried to show on Twitter. Like, I can really sing. That's what he was trying to say.
Thanks.
And to me, like The Weeknd, like in terms of his music, the way he sings is usually like, I feel like we can be around the same range. I don't know the same tone. That's not the right word I'm trying to use. I'm not sure exactly what I'm trying to use. Yeah, around the same. I don't know.
I know what you mean though.
Yeah, like
range might be
kind of whispery.
Yeah, like it's around the same range until he decides to ascend into like those kind of high notes. But then we find out in reality he can't really hit those high notes in reality. So so he really kind of stays around the same range.
I wouldn't. All right, listen. We can't say. All right, there's a difference between not being able to hit and doing it live at like a performance. Cause like Division, I forgot what the singer's name. And that nigga different. He really do that. Went to the Drake concert. He hit them high notes easy. The Weeknd may or may not be able to hit those high notes, but we can't say that in the studio it's automatically adjusted and all these kind of situations automatically adjusted. There's a lot of things going on stage before.
But in Jordan defense, if you can't do that, you shouldn't be speaking on Raymond's name like that. You need to be talking about Bryson Tiller and them other new guys. You can't come out and speak ill on a legend and you can't back up the vocals. That's all I'm saying. You're not slandering Selena Gomez, no pop stars. We talking about R&B legends. Exactly. If he called out any new artist, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But when you bring to like late 90s, early 2000s R&B, not singers who sang, they come through them vocals. None of that. When you speak on their name, the only thing that's coming through their mind is, you think you singing better than me? And that's the one,
Hey, Ben, I be on no EE type shit.
The Weeknd's quote.
Exactly.
I heard Climax, that Usher song, and was like, holy fuck, that's a Weeknd song. It was very flattering, and I knew I was doing something right, but I was also angry. But the older I got, I realized it's a good thing. Is that speaking down on a legend by saying, wow, that's flattering?
It's not. But what Usher saying is, this thing, Usher didn't produce the track, Diplo did. So Diplo just said, I got this idea for a song. He probably didn't tell him, like, oh, I've been listening to the week. He was like, hey, I got this cool idea. Check this out. Try this. So Usher, his only thing that's on his mind is, I'm finna go in here and sing. Sing. So when he hear The Weeknd pull up 6 years later with the vibe of the song, reminded me, it's atmospheric and it's dark. And
the high notes.
Us ain't hearing none of that. So,
and the high notes and the atmospheric song that the producer said was inspired by the album. I'll say with that quote, we have a subjective conversation about whose music is better, even though we all just agree that Usher's music has been better historically. But Diplo just kind of closed the case for us about who was right in that situation.
Shout out to Diplo.
Shout out to Diplo.
All I gotta say is
Been to Diplo because he threw Raymond under the bus.
all I gotta say is I remember being younger and singing Climax by Usher. And then coming back and singing it.
Weird sentence.
After I had gone through puberty, I was like, nah, I can't sing it no more.
Man.
So
the quiz is the unofficial old nigga on the podcast.
Hey, yo, Cam funny as hell.
all I got.
Isn't Jacquez literally the youngest person on the podcast?
He actually is. He's the oldest in spirit.
Yeah,
Jacquez the oldest nigga.
He's the honorary old head.
It's the honorary old head on the podcast. Are you taking The Weeknd? Would you rather listen to Usher?
Usher.
Easy money.
Easy money. So I'm gonna just make this harder. To make this hard, I'm gonna give y'all some artists. I'm gonna ask y'all if y'all think they are better or worse than The Weeknd. Miguel.
Worse.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with work.
Hey man, his features be hitting. His features be hitting. I can't even.
I
They
really
do.
like
They
Kaleidoscope
do.
Dream.
I'm gonna say.
Oh,
I
Kaleidoscope.
really like Kaleidoscope Dreams.
But is Kaleidoscope Dream better than House of Balloons?
Yeah.
We going on projects.
Not by wide margin.
Also his features. I think
Not by-
features. And I like his features. I listen to a lot more of his features than I do
The Weeknd.
the Weeknd. So I'm gonna go.
You know what
Miguel.
You always know what you're getting with a Weeknd feature, and it's usually,
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's whispery.
Frank Ocean.
Oh, Frankie.
Come on.
That's Frankie.
It's
Come
Frank
on
all
now.
day.
Frank.
It's Frank all day. Come on now.
No
That's my
debate.
boy.
No debate.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess I just won't say my answer.
Put it over there, Cam. That boy Frank don't miss.
He don't.
He really don't.
Literally
Not
not miss.
miss.
Okay.
He don't shoot a lot either, but he don't miss.
I was about to say, he don't shoot a lot, but he damn efficient.
Boban.
That's all I got. Like those like the only like R&B singers I feel like I could ask, and it'd be kind of be like a toss up. Like I could ask about Chris Brown, but I think almost everybody would.
Chris Brown.
I think everybody would say Chris Brown over the weekend. I hope.
I was gonna say Weeknd.
Mm.
Come on,
I
Corey.
was gonna say Weeknd.
Come on.
Don't get
I've been
get-
waiting on this.
Boy,
Niggas been
boy,
expecting
don't
Chris
get me
Breezy for
wrong.
Too damn long.
Don't get me
Corey.
wrong.
Look at this
Chris
shit.
Brown has had a catalog. I just enjoy the Weeknd music more than Chris Brown. Y'all know how. Come on, man. Y'all know this.
I was talking.
It's
about
not Chris Brown.
If Chris Brown knew how to trim his albums, he'd be one of the greatest.
That's facts.
Yeah.
He just likes all his music he puts out.
Okay.
He like a rapper.
So let me say this. So Chris Brown would come out with a 15-track album next week, and the Weeknd would come out with a 15-track album next week. You feel like you would probably enjoy the Weeknd or Chris Brown's album more?
Chris Brown, easy.
I enjoy Chris Brown.
Probably Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
I mean, he made probably 60 songs, and he cut it down to 15.
Yeah.
The best 15.
Yes.
And if he give me two EDM songs, it's Chris Brown.
I'm taking Chris Brown now, but we talking like 5, 6, 7 years ago Weekend. I'm taking the Weekend.
All right, wait. Are we talking 5, 6, 7 years ago Weekend? We talking that one tape of the Weekend?
We talking about House of Balloon Weekend, but I'm still going Chris Brown if they got the same amount of tracks.
Right, but I'm talking about the whole trilogy though.
I feel that.
Bro, I love trilogy, bro. Like that's all. Like when those came out, like consecutively, man, that's like all I listened to when they came out, man.
See,
like,
here's the thing about that little dip though. Right when House Balloons dropped was the year after Chris Brown beat Rihanna and was producing simultaneously his worst music. So that's kind of
Well, no, I'm not taking like those like time periods. I'm just saying like we put up like
Prime.
Basically, prime. He's saying
yeah,
prime.
exactly, primes. Yeah. Well, shit. I mean, we talking primes then. Fuck. I guess it's Chris Brown there.
Yeah, I was saying like the hit maker. You watch that beat battle with us where like they play like 5 to 6 different beats that Scott Storch did for Chris Brown. You know, hey man, that nigga should be.
That's when it ended. To be honest.
Did anybody listen to that Usher and Zaytoven album, or was I the only one that did that?
You the only one.
I listened to a couple tracks off.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know that existed.
I knew it
Usher
existed.
singing over trap beats.
I really wish I had that time back.
Usher trying to go to the Bryson Tiller wave.
I'm good. Hey man, them 2 songs that leaked with Young Thug were hidden though. I need them.
There is one on there with Young Thug.
No Limit.
It's decent.
No Limit.
No.
I like No Limit.
Oh
It's
man!
Come
on, Corey. Come on,
So,
Corey.
so y'all telling me Usher put out that whole Zaytoven album trying to emulate the kids, and in this conversation we talking about Usher emulating the kids. It's like, oh, he don't do that.
No,
he don't bite
saying,
nobody.
I didn't say that.
Oi, hold on. When you say imitate the kids, what R&B singer other than Usher working with Zaytoven? I need an answer to this because I must be missing out. Because I don't know no kids. I don't know no kids who making it.
You ain't missing that.
There's a reason for that, Corliss.
You ain't
I was
missing
about to say, yeah, that's why.
Only Raymond could go in the studio and make R&B tracks.
Wait, somebody did
Zaytoven.
Didn't an R&B singer do an album with DJ Mustard? Who the hell did that shit? Somebody did it recently.
DJ Mustard and Zaytoven, two completely
LMA.
different people.
Hey man,
We
both
talking about
were
DJ
bad.
Mustard.
Both of them were bad
Who
ideas.
done made?
Oh, Element. Was that her last album?
Yeah, it was her only album. Yeah, it was alright.
I didn't think it was a bad album.
Nah,
Hey,
it's just
the background.
It's just like if you're an R&B singer, why you getting DJ Mustard to produce your project?
You know.
Hey man,
Wait, the
Usher got
one that had
Diplo to
Boo'd Up
produce
on it?
Climax.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, DJ Mustard made that?
Yes, sir. She signed to his label.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh,
This is artist.
But all right,
okay. I didn't know that.
And also, don't what's the dude? They Summer Walker. Oh my God, I forgot his name. London on track. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
oh yeah. I forgot. I don't know if it's still dead.
So you told me in all those, Usher's the only one that missed. All right, Jordan. Next topic.
All right, that's fair. Moving on to the next. Moving on to the next.
Disrespect.
Moving on to the next topic. I want to talk about a player that's near and dear to Cam's heart. Jaquez brought up the topic the other day. He wanted to talk about, is Steve Nash the most disrespected MVP all the time? He is often brought up. Almost amount of time people bring up the MVP, they always talk about how he didn't deserve it in the 2006 season when he won it over.
I heard a lot of people say he don't deserve neither one of them.
No, people say neither one of them, but the year they talk about the most.
Definitely 06.
See, they talk about definitely 06 when Kobe averaged around 36.
35, yeah.
I think Bron was averaging around 31. But Steve Nash averaged 18 and 10, and he led the Suns to a 54-28 record. So they were number 2 in the West. They made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So they lost in 6 games to the Dallas Mavericks. This is also the season that Steve Nash shot 50, 40, 90 in the season. Steve Nash averaged 20 and 10 in that playoff run. In the previous season, so we'll just talk about 2006 right now. In this season, 2006, Kobe, I think they finished the 7th seed in the West, and then were beaten by the Suns in the playoffs. You know, that doesn't go towards the MVP award, but just give you some context on what the Lakers were like. Steve Nash's team were better. So, and then I think Bron and the Cavs are 4th seed in the East that year. So, with that being said, is there an MVP? But we're not here to argue if he deserved the MVP. We're here to argue, do I feel like he deserves the respect he gets, the disrespect he gets, and do you feel like there is a MVP more disrespect than Steve Nash?
There's definitely, if anybody, well, actually, niggas, the only MVP I think that doesn't deserve less than he does is probably Derrick Rose year, because LeBron definitely should have won it that year, but I think he didn't win it because of voter fatigue. But that nigga definitely the most. He's definitely the most disrespected. But I actually watched the game yesterday of him versus the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, he was. I didn't know he was. I forgot he was scoring like that. Like he had that clip. Like
toning them up.
Yeah, he was. He was hooping.
Niggas forget that Steve Nash is one of the best shooters in NBA history.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
they
do.
Like, he was out there lighting them up, like off the dribble, like just getting buckets on everybody.
Yeah.
Like, y'all know how rare it is for a guard to average 50% from the field in a season.
That shit tough.
Michael Jordan is one of the few guards that did it, and he was a 2 guard. Steve Nash was a point guard, and he averaged 11 assists while he was doing it. And he made 54 times in his career.
Talk to him.
Not to mention, not to mention, you hardly we'll never see this fire.
I ain't never seen Cam like this.
Facts.
Suns Nation,
baby.
Stand up.
I just see way too much Steve Nash slander on the internet, because it's like I saw this thing, and it was like John Stockton, Steve Nash, it was like Gary Payton and some other point guard was up there. Jason Kidd, that's who it was. It was those 4 point guards. And they were like, take one. And like, niggas were saying Steve Nash. I was like, y'all do remember who Steve Nash was, right? Y'all.
No, I know what you're talking about, Cam. It was, instead of Gary Payton, it was Chris Paul. Yeah, everybody did fix Steve. Everybody in the mall fixed Steve Nash. like niggas were
I was like, Jason Kidd.
I'd definitely take Steve Nash over Jason Kidd. No, just Jason Kidd. He a great point guard, but I would definitely take Nash. Because thing is, like,
I don't think he ever played at like best player in the league. Like,
yeah, I think it was like start, bench, cut, Steve Nash, Chris Paul, and Jason Kidd. And I think a lot of people said like start Paul, bench Kidd, and cut Nash. Yeah.
And guess what? Steve Nash gonna come back and beat him in the playoffs after leading his team to 65 wins that season. That's what's gonna happen.
Cam dropped the mic. Cam dropped the mic.
He said that he kind of looked to the left, like, man.
Like,
Cam pulling up on niggas.
It's crazy because Steve Nash, the reason I became a Suns fan, and to see this disrespect and this slander is like, it hurts. It hurts.
Cam, where the hell are you that the entire state of Mississippi is under attack from storms and you just outside chilling? Like,
I was gonna ask y'all if y'all can hear the thunder that's going on. It's like really thunder.
I don't hear nothing. This nigga put his life on the line for the podcast.
But you know what, Cam? I think I figured out what it was. I think niggas, they love people that they can't be like they idolize like 6'8", 259 people. But when like guys who are literally like normal people, like Chris Paul, Steve Nash, people that they can actually be like, they just hate
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas. Like they just really, really hate those guys, and I just never understood that ever in my life.
I think that's kind of like a jealousy thing because niggas be like, oh, I should be in the league, not this nigga.
I could do that.
I can see it. Because like Steve Nash, like you going back talking about his efficiency, like he averaged like even in his 2005 season when he got MVP, he was averaging like 15 points a game, 11 assists a game, 50 points. They're not very gaudy for an MVP candidate. Like I think Chris Paul did like 18, 12 before and then win an MVP. But it's the fact that the Suns were the number one seed in the West. They won 64 games that season, and then when they got to the playoffs, Steve Nash. Yes, that offense number one in the league, one of the best offenses all time until like.
I think they made the most 3-pointers that season too. They led the league in 3-pointers both those years too.
But not only that, Steve Nash went from averaging 15 and 11 in the regular season to averaging 24 and 11 for 3 whole rounds throughout the playoffs. Like he averaged 24 and 12. Like that's hard to replicate as a point guard. And then he still shot around 54 and 90 in the playoffs. So the same efficiency he had on regular season and the hardest part of these. And the same efficiency he had in the regular season when he got to the playoffs, which is supposed to be where your efficiency dips, he increased his scoring while keeping his efficiency the same. That's ridiculous, man.
He was able to run the system and beat the system and flick it off, turn it back on whenever he felt like. It's MVP caliber play because most people can only do one thing. He's definitely
the most disrespected, though.
He's disrespected because you think about it. Who are the 2 fan bases that he upset? The Bron fan base, the Lakers fan base. Those are the 2 biggest fan bases in the NBA. So it's natural
on the internet.
Yeah, so naturally.
But when you think about it though, like 15 and like John Wall probably like now. I guess when you think about it in retrospect, like nowadays, like averaging 20 and 10 is like Trae Young's averaging 30 and 10 this year, and niggas are saying he's not the best. Not even a lot of people don't even put him in their top 5 point guards. You know what I'm saying? Like. I guess because that is become so normalized because like how fast the game plays now.
I was about to say it's a different league now.
Or even
the game though.
Or even like if you look at like Chris Paul, how he averaged 20 and 10, and people don't really see Chris Paul as an MVP. So they're like, well, why does nigga that average around the same numbers Chris Paul winning MVP?
A little bit less than
LeBron. Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's
I can see where the hate comes from, but he is really, really disrespected.
And not even saying that it's hate, because I understand like it's warranted for people to be upset that the player didn't win, because I mean the numbers that they were putting up are crazy, especially in the time that they were putting them up. But you got to take if you were a person in that time period, you got to take everything into account. You got a 7 seed, like Russell Westbrook had to average a 30-point triple-double to win.
Exactly.
And
that's the thing. That's the thing. That the MVP has to be more, because usually it goes to the best player on the best team or the second best team. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's something that the MVP voters gotta define for. Was
that post Shaq?
Yeah, it's post Shaq.
36.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
He was playing with Smush Parker.
Yeah, but like
you
can't penalize Smush Parker. Yeah, you can't penalize good players for having good teammates. Going back to the topic of who's most disrespected, I definitely think it's Steve Nash. Like I went down the list of like MVPs. Like nobody really talks shit about any of these guys, other than there's some like people slander AI, because I slander AI some a little bit. But the whole, I don't know, of course, getting that, but the whole world, for the most part, the whole world loves AI. Derrick Rose, like a lot of people love Derrick Rose.
They love what ifs.
So like he definitely is the most disrespected. So. Maybe James Harden. Is that what you getting at?
Okay. Yeah, he up there.
Yes. Harden is definitely up there. I don't think people say he should have
had to.
I
should have 3.
But you know what? He should have. Yeah, because he's been like the runner up like 5 straight years, except the year he won. But like he definitely. niggas really do disrespect Harden. Like I said, I showed y'all that when we talked about the T-Mac subject. Like the reason I asked about that was because it was like start bench cut and it was T-Mac, Melo, and Harden, and like hella niggas was cutting Harden. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like the nigga literally accomplished more than both them other niggas. Like
everybody, yeah. Like he will put 50, 40, 60 on any team in the NBA, and everybody just be like, "Oh, he going to the line." Like, what's wrong with that? It's like it's buckets.
And it's not even. And then he's not even. He'll get like. I'll say he'll get like 12, 14 points from the line. But if you get the other 45 points from buckets, you know what I'm saying? Like,
bruh.
If
you can put a 60-point triple double on every team in the NBA, you deserve MVP.
Facts.
I would say the inefficiency has a lot to do with it, but I feel like Carmelo's not very efficient either. I don't recall.
T-Mac shot around the same as Harden, like 44%. So
yeah.
I mean,
I was about to say T-Mac wasn't super efficient either.
If you factor in the large volume of threes that Harden takes in, he's actually pretty efficient. Like you can factor that in. He has games where he'll go 0 for 17 from 3.
He be tired,
which is fucking ridiculous. If you would take you go over 17 from 3. But the fact of the matter is, his overall averages for the season, he's generally pretty efficient. But
imagine a nigga missing 10 straight threes and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna shoot 7 more."
Man, imagine the Rockets missing like what they missed when they lost to the Warriors in Game 7. They missed like 33s in a row.
It was like
27.
Yeah, and then they only lost by like 7 points.
But I mean, in his defense, he thought like, percentage-wise, I'm supposed to start hitting some. And, he playing a numbers game. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Shout out to the boy Grant. We got him to help us out with this next topic. So what I want to do is I got him to give me a list of rappers. And what I wanted to do is to take – wait, is this the right person? No, this is not it. Wait, what do y'all see?
Nothing.
Jordan has started screen.
Nothing. It's just
there we go.
Okay.
Hey, so this is a list of rappers presented to me by Grant. Shout out to Groovy. And what I want y'all to do is each of us build a 3-man team of rappers that you guys will want from this list.
For a song, for an album.
Yeah, give me some content.
I'm not making an album, but like maybe you want to sign these artists. Maybe these like the only artists you would like want. Let's say like these.
You talking about like how they be like for the rest of quarantine. Pick
for the rest of quarantine.
The rest of the okay.
Yes, like what 3 artists would you want to listen to?
Wait, that's a way different. Wait.
Give me I can go pretty easy off this. Give me Uzi, Crit, and Doja.
Uzi, Crit, and Doja. Okay.
Crit, Curry, Cat.
Curry, Cat. Thought you were talking about
Crit, Curry, Cat.
For a second.
Oh no! Crit, Curry, Gibbs. I'm bugging. My fault.
Yeah.
I ain't see Freddie Gibbs. Oh man.
Cole, you don't want Action Bronson?
Wait, he ain't on the list.
Yeah,
he's number 3.
He's the third name.
I got a different list.
Am I drunk?
Oh, my fault.
That's the Everclear kicking in.
No.
Nigga vision impaired.
Sideways. So the list started at Freddie Gibbs. All right, give me Brunson. Nah, my phone sideways. All right, bro. Give me Brunson, Gibbs, Creek.
All right.
I'll take.
I'm so confused.
I'll take Gunna. Give me Crit.
Wait, Gunna's on this list?
Yeah, Gunna's at the very bottom.
He the last
I can't
one.
see the. Oh, I can't see anybody at the bottom.
I'll take Gunna.
Who's out the Denzel Curry?
After Denzel Curry is Rico Nasty and Gunna.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to see Rico. Damn.
I'll take Gunna, Drizzy, and Crit.
You a fan of Drizzy?
Okay.
I think
she really changed my mind on that the album, the Dreamville album.
I was scared about what he was about to say.
I was too. I didn't know what he was about to say. That's only like one
my
Drizzy.
mind on the bitches. I was like, okay.
There's only like one Drizzy song I really like, and that's one with him, with her, Kodak, and Black. It's like,
yeah.
That's probably like the only song, not the only song. That's like the song Drizzy made that like really spoke to me. I'm like, oh, this is dope.
Yeah, the song with T-Pain is pretty hot too.
I gotta check that out then, cause it's T-Pain on it. Word to the Lone.
Hey, I said, have we ever heard a bad T-Pain song?
Nope.
He don't get the respect that every other legend gets. Though.
He don't.
So let's see.
Boy.
If I had
facts.
If I had to pick my three, I would say Currency. Because the thing is, if we're in quarantine for like a year or so, we're in quarantine for like a year or so. Currency gonna release about 4 projects, and they're all gonna be
huge facts.
They're all gonna be chill. Currency, Freddie Gibbs, and then the third person, I might go Mick Jenkins. I think that's what I'm gonna go.
Oh, you're not going Mississippi legend Crit? That's
tough.
I'm
gonna go Mick Jenkins.
I'm gonna take Denzel.
Give me a mixtape and a cooking show and some recipes.
I'm gonna take Denzel, Gunna, and Gibbs.
I can rock with it.
I'll take Gibbs, Doja, and Crit with honorable mention to Flo Milli. I can't choose her because she literally has 3 songs. So I can't really pick her for the rest of quarantine.
Shout out to Grant for including Flo Milli, because when I saw this list, I was like, Flo Milli.
Oh no, I heard a song or 2 of hers. She's actually is pretty decent.
Yeah. Alabama Legends.
You heard all of her songs, all 2 of them. But yeah, man, they hot. Hey, did y'all notice John stroking his beard like he still got a beard?
No, I peeped. If y'all been staring, hold on, podcast. If y'all have been staring at us, wondering what's different, is John's beard. That's what's different. John beard isn't here anymore.
Yeah, man. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
You will be missed.
You had a good run.
All right. Moving on to the next topic. It's time for the over and under presented by DeLon, where he gives us a player, musician, album, yada yada yada, and then he tells us, and then he presents it to us, and then we debate if it's overrated, underrated. DeLon, who you have for us this week?
All right, this week we have Detroit Piston legend.
Hey.
So Blake Griffin, aka the Mulatto Messiah, was born March 16th in 1989. Coming out of high school as a top 10 power forward, Blake Griffin committed to playing basketball for the University of Oklahoma Sooners. He stayed there for 2 years, his sophomore year, putting up an average of 22.7 points per game, 14.4 rebounds per game, and 2.3 assists per game. He set the Big 12 season single season record for rebounds, double-doubles, and free throw attempts. He also won the following awards: Naismith Player of the Year, Associated Press Player of the Year, Wooden Award, Oscar Robertson, NABC, Adolph Rupp, Big 12 Player of the Year, and a lot more. And this is a long list. I'm just going to stop naming them. In 2009, he was drafted first overall by the Los Angeles Clippers. He then famously missed the entire season after landing wrong on a dunk during the very last game of the preseason. The following year, he became the first rookie to play in an All-Star game since Yao Ming in 2003. He won that year's dunk contest after a series of very mid dunks. He became the first rookie to sweep the Rookie of the Month awards for the whole year since Chris Paul. He was then listed as having one of the top 15 greatest rookie seasons of all time by Sports Illustrated. The following year, Chris Paul made his way to the Clippers by way of the New Orleans Pelicans, Hornets at the time. The Clippers made it to the playoffs with a 40-26 record in a season that was shortened by a CBA lockout. They beat the Grizzlies in 7 in round 1. They were quickly swept by the Spurs in round 2. The next 3 years, in summary, are as follows: unfortunate playoff bounce, teammate injury, racist owner, great owner, a lot of triple doubles, deep playoff runs, bouncing the Western Conference Finals. In 2015 season, he missed 45 games. The first month due to an injury, the second month and a half due to a suspension and injury from hitting a member of the equipment staff and also injuring his hand. He then, in that same season, missed the back end of the postseason after aggravating his left quad in Game 4 of the first round. He had an amazing next season, however, before being ruled out of the playoffs again with an injury to his big toe. But the next season, he managed to sign a 5-year extension with the Clippers. But then that November, he was injured again for 2 months after spraining his MCL. And then the next year, he was traded to the Murder Mitten Pistons to play alongside Andre Drummond. And in this coronavirus-shortened season, he was yet again expected to miss the rest of the season. So, how are we feeling about Blake Griffin?
Man.
Really?
Hey, man, underrated, man. Blake Griffin has had a great career, but like a lot of great players, he's been plagued by injuries. And the one thing that I always, because I can talk about Blake Griffin for an hour, I'm gonna make it short for everybody else. The one thing that I give Blake Griffin all the credit in the world for is evolving his game when everyone thought that he could. And he didn't just add a jump shot. He just didn't add three. He didn't add a little post move. He excels at it. Because being a guy that came into the league and everybody said all he can do is dunk and get rebounds, he is a player that can do everything. And that's why I respect Blake Griffin. And he is underrated. And people got to put respect on his name. And he get traded to the Milwaukee Bucks so he can get a ring.
There was that one, was it Western Conference Finals where Chris Paul got injured and Blake Griffin literally became the point guard and was like averaging like 25 and like 8 and 8 that playoff series.
Yeah, he went crazy.
It was not a Western Conference Finals, but I told you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was like the year they blew the 3-1 lead to the Rockets. Chris Paul got hurt versus he got hurt in the Spurs series. Like Griffin was already leading the charge against them. He averaged close to a triple-double that series. And then he got to the Rockets, and he was balling through the first 4 games, and then he disappeared in the last 3. So before I get on Blake Griffin head, in the grand scheme of things, I agree with Core. I believe he's underrated. He's a player that people pegged as a one-trick pony. They said all he could do was dunk for a majority of his career. And it's so funny that a player that got that label for like the first 7 years of his career somehow evolved into a player that people said he takes too many jump shots. To the point that people are mad that he was shooting threes. He was shooting well. He shoots like around 36, 37% from 3. That's a great clip from your stretch 4. That's a great clip. And it's not only that he's also able to handle the ball like a guard, able to take shots off the dribble. So he isn't spot up in the corners. Like he's taking threes off the dribble. Step back threes. Mid-range jumpers. While also maintaining his post game. The only thing that he's become worse at is rebounding. I just feel like that's an effort thing, but that's another story. So in the grand scheme,
and Drummond, Drummond was there.
Yeah, but and then he also had DeAndre Jordan back when he was with the Clippers. So in the grand scheme of things, I think Blake Griffin is underrated. But there is a particular instance where we talk about Blake Griffin and people say that he is, or they say he is. I feel like he's overrated, and that's when we talk about like, say, man, this Clippers team was loaded. These guys should have went all the way. Why didn't they? And that's when they overrate Blake Griffin. Because when people look at those series, they literally look at just Chris Paul and they fail to look at literally any other Clipper on the team. And if you looked at any other Clipper on the team, you would have seen that Jamal Crawford shoots like 35% from the field every playoff.
Terrible.
Every playoffs. Consistently.
That nigga literally the worst playoff shooter ever. Like,
yes.
That nigga's terrible.
Man.
No, he literally is.
No, Core, like historically, like he has the worst shooting percentage. I think he's like top 5.
Yeah,
worst shooting percentages in the playoffs.
Kyle Lowry's going to list, but he worked his way out of it. DeRozan is still on that list, I do believe. Then
Jamal Crawford skipped this episode, man. I ain't gonna put no slander on your name.
Nah, I got
I'm tired of people showing that game from the Suns when them motherfuckers was playing the Mavericks and the Mavericks had that G Leaguers in. He dropped 60. I'm tired of niggas saying he could be on the goddamn NBA team. I'm on his ass, and I'm on Blake Griffin ass. Cause I'm sick of this shit. I am sick of this.
Because to Jaquez's point, there's also the fact that like nobody looks at JJ Redick, who disappears in the playoffs historically. Nobody looks at Matt Barnes and like the slew of small forwards they had that were ineffective in the playoffs and just disappeared. And most importantly, nobody ever really looks at what Blake Griffin did in those series where when he went up against Zach Randolph and he would just be completely outmatched, or when he'd be completely outmatched.
Wait. He was still getting buckets.
Oh, my mama, Zach Randolph, I play him every time they pulled up court. Don't cap.
He was getting buckets.
Don't cap.
We talking about
we
talking about a sophomore year.
I remember
still putting 20 and 10 on Zach Randolph head. Y'all
I remember being.
He played him multiple times.
No. This is my thing. Zach Randolph would foul Blake Griffin, and they wouldn't say nothing. And then Blake would put up 20-10, and everybody posted one clip and be like, "Oh, Zach Randolph had Blake looking bad." Blake would pull up 25, 13, 50% soon, and then everybody would be like, "Oh, but Zach Randolph body slammed him."
But then there's like those Thunder series where Serge Ibaka used to be just as physical with him and lock him up. And then there was that 3 games. There was that 3-game stretch where he let Josh Smith and Corey Brewer cook his ass to death.
He wasn't even on the court.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. Chris Paul was chilling. Let's talk about this.
No, yes, he was. That's who was guarding him. But
man, got some real selective.
Man, look at y'all.
You got selective memory, man. Corey got selective memory. Y'all, I'm glad this coming to light. While we on, then he ain't got the balls look us in the face, Jordan. He ain't got the balls look us in the fucking face. And we got video cameras right now.
Hey man, y'all see what this agenda is, bro. They are Chris Paul stains. They don't want to admit that it was all on Chris Paul.
No,
The
thing is,
he literally just said every single season, Blake Griffin
don't want to have it.
when it mattered the most.
The thing is,
every year from 2015 to 2018,
you know what I'm saying? No, I'm saying this. The thing is that when we look at those teams, we only talk about Chris Paul, and people scratch their heads and say, why couldn't this team with all these players do, excel?
Hey,
and I'm like, and they just neglect to look at what the other niggas did in the playoffs. That's why I say he's overrated.
And don't get me started on Doc. Don't get me started on that.
Wait, chill.
Don't get me started on him.
Niggas want to go pick their son up.
All I'm saying is this. I feel like over this way, Chris Paul was the de facto leader of the team. Chris Paul.
He wasn't a good father. Austin. He asked Austin. He was not a good father.
Doc is actually a terrible father, according to Austin.
Nigga called to check on his dad. He was like, tee this nigga up.
He said, I think Austin said something like, he said that he never really got a chance to talk to his dad, even after he got his dad was always on the road playing games and stuff as a coach. And then once he got to the league is when he got to have some interaction with his dad. But he said it wasn't until his dad called him and said, hey, we got a spot for you on the Clippers. And he came to play for the Clippers. Was like the most he ever talked to his dad was when he was on the team.
Tough.
That's crazy.
That boy, anime character.
Speaking of Doc Rivers, I did not know he was as good of an NBA player he was. I was looking up Steve Nash for our segment, and I didn't realize Steve Nash is only 1 assist ahead of him on the all-time assist chart for third all-time. Didn't know that.
He's dime up.
Can we talk about, though, how, and talking about how Blake Griffin's overrated, underrated, he is the reason why Ben Simmons is overrated. Because just because Blake Griffin, people still holding out hope for Ben Simmons. And it was almost gone for a second. It was almost gone. And then Giannis started shooting a little bit. And then they looked at Blake Griffin, or they looked at Ben Simmons like, hey.
Shoot.
If they can do it.
Shoot. You coward.
You know, I'm pretty sure he's right-handed. I've come to the conclusion I'm pretty sure he's right-handed. He just shoots left-handed. And it's just bad. I don't know why he does. I don't know why he does it.
A lot of NBA players do that shit, man.
Blake couldn't shoot at all. Like he couldn't shoot at all.
DeAndre Jordan does it. But let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. I want to talk to you guys about TDE's management of their artists, which they've been under some fire as of recently. They've always been under fire, been questioned like, why y'all doing this? So for a little background, TDE has this weird cycle that they do. They try to prevent their artists releasing within 3 months of each other. So even if one artist may have their album done, they're like, well, it's not your turn. It's SZA's turn, but we got to wait for SZA to finish her album before you put your album out, even though your album's already complete and nobody else in the label is releasing anything. And so that's drawn many fans to grow upset, with the most recent example being that Isaiah Rashad has finally turned in his album and said that he is finished. And Isaiah Rashad has now released an album in 3.5 years. I think it's 2017 is the last time he released the album. Despite it being done, TDE is insisting that Reason go before him. Reason has been promoting his album since, I think, December. But despite that, it's like, no, Reason's going to go next. And so Reason's album was supposed to drop in March. But now March has passed because of coronavirus, so now we still got to wait on Reason. So whenever this ends, we still got to wait on Reason to drop first, then Isaiah Rashad, and then which also holds up everybody else after them. Do you guys think that TDE mismanages their talent in terms of release schedules? And also not even that, the fact that a lot of TDE artists don't even do guest features or release singles or even loosies, like how Drake has been doing recently, or like almost any artist does. Do y'all feel like TDE is holding this artist back?
Personally, I do, because that's a lot of. They got they got a nice lineup over there. They're not releasing music. That's pretty tough. Because I loved. You remember we went to that concert, Jordan the Sons, Tirade, however you say the word.
Yeah, Sons Tirade.
Yeah, that joint was hidden, and they just mismanaging, in my opinion, because it doesn't really matter if the music is going. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who's releasing because everybody's doing different things anyway. So I doubt if you drop, as long as you're not dropping the same day. I can understand I want to drop the same day. Like that's given, or even 2-3 weeks apart from each other. But make somebody wait a whole 3 months to drop music after whoever this person is, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's because it really doesn't make sense, especially like not letting them release music, because somebody told me that, like, you know, TDE tries to let the artists make a name for themselves. Well, if you want the artist to make a name for themselves, it makes sense for those artists be able to release music on their own time. Like, okay, guys, I got my album done. Well, Isaiah, for instance, like Isaiah Rashad case, we don't want you releasing your album until September. Well, can I release some loosies? Can I just release some songs just to, you know, hold up the fans over? They might not be on the album, just, you know, just to treat them. Nah, just don't. It's like the head honchos at TDE read the 48 Laws of Power, and they do the whole word to Grant enigma. They try to do the whole you can't see me, so now I'm mysterious, and now mystique. And so now you want my music even more. And I just think that's the dumbest thing ever. I think these artists would probably be bigger if they actually tried to stay somewhat in the collective's mind, like keep some attention on themselves. But the fact that they release their music and they're not allowed to release anything until they come back, I just think that's poor management.
Question: can any of you name another label or group where 80% of the members are stars?
80% of the group are stars.
I can't even name TDE for that.
You can't star sales, star release, star at least critical reception. You can't say TDE is that group.
No.
I guess I could say, well, Prime Young Money, I guess.
No, yeah, that's true.
Like
Prime Young Money had T Street, Gutter, all them dudes. Everybody,
we talking about three.
Everybody who is in that picture that Jordan has on our screen right now is considered a very important person when they release. And that's because TDE goes out of their way to make every person in that label feel like the most important person on the label when it's their time to release an album. And that is just, well, when it released, everybody was waiting for it. Everybody was disappointed by it. Everybody was waiting for it.
Niggas were really waiting on J-Rock.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you what.
That's a Grammy Award winning album?
It's a Grammy Award winning album.
We are doing that. We're talking.
I don't care what none of you. I don't care what none of y'all say.
Managing and making money from someone, we're going to talk about Grammys and sales and stuff like that. Everybody who's in that picture feels like the most important person on the label when the album drops, and that's why everyone is so successful. SZA, when she dropped, the most important thing for the next few months, even though Crash Talk wasn't it, the label was revolving around him. Kendrick in the background, that was the whole story. Absol, we haven't heard from Absol in a long time. But when we do, it's going to be important. Isaiah Rashad, we want an album so bad, we were literally harassing the label for that album. So when that album drops, it is going to stream very, very well. The only one who's messing up right now is the Reason, because he has the shit into the stick right now. But what they're doing with that label is very smart, and it's making everyone on the same playing field for the most part. Because everybody gets the rub from the little Kendrick feature that Kendrick only puts out once a year when it's only on the TDE album. When the TDE artists can come together to make a song, it's an event. It works better than anybody else who's oversaturating their label and putting everybody out at the same time.
Well, like I said, I was.
So that mean we won't be getting Kendrick this year?
Probably
we gotta wait.
Probably not, because from what I understand, it's Reason, and then it's going to be Isaiah. And I think it was originally planned for it to be Kendrick after that, maybe Kendrick before Isaiah or Kendrick after. But I think he was supposed to come this year. But now they said, but Top Dog said that he said that the schedule has pushed everybody's back.
And we're not getting Kendrick without a tour. So
no.
If we can't tour, we're not getting it.
No. Kendrick's not going to lose that money. But I agree with you, DeLon. That's why I always like of the amount of people complaining about TD. I'm like, they're doing this so they can maximize each artist's window and get the best out of everybody's album. But I will say that it does seem a bit flawed that there's a high demand for a certain project, and I'm like, you could be capitalizing off Isaiah's like this demand. Like, you could be releasing something like anything, like, or even like just any artist, for instance. Like, when I really think about it, I'm like, wow, these guys don't do features like that until it's time for their album to come around, or they don't just release music like, hey guys, remember me? Like, I'm still here, I'm still alive. Like, we haven't heard nothing from SZA since Control.
And that's why I love it.
That's a classic.
And that's why I love it.
Not gonna lie,
that's why I don't love it.
Because like I said, I said, DeLon, I'm of the belief that you should oversaturate the market, but going 3 years without a song, like, I think one song a year wouldn't be oversaturated.
It's not, but then hey, that's the mystique. That's the enigma.
Man, Mystique dies though, especially when it's
Huge
more than one
facts,
person. Okay,
though.
I look at it this way. When TDE first came out, you had a group of, relatively unknown artists. And when you put all the attention on one of them, I think that's perfect. This is where it gets a little tricky. You can't run a system when you have stars. When you get somebody like Kendrick Lamar, you can't sit him in the corner and say, all right, sit back, chill, it's J-Rock time. I just don't think it worked like that. And in my personal opinion, I think SZA had it the worst. I think SZA had it the worst, man. SZA came through probably one of the most critically acclaimed R&B albums in a very long time, and she really put dark-skinned black women on the map. And I just feel like when you drop an album like Control, you should not stop. You gotta keep going. You have to take advantage of this situation, because one thing that we know about R&B artists is that fans, not only artists, hip hop and R&B in general, fans are fickle. You cannot be mysterious 24/7. If you go missing for too long, sometimes people leave. Everybody can't be Frank Ocean. And I feel like when SZA had that moment with Control, she got nominated for a Grammy, had all the high reviews, everybody loved the album. I think they should have kept that train running. And when you stop it for all of these other artists who not go capitalize like she go capitalize, it doesn't work. I get that you want to give everybody their time to shine, but when somebody got the sun glaring in front of them, you don't move them out the way. I
wouldn't say you got to just keep on oversaturating, but 3 years, that's a bit excessive.
No. Isaiah Rashad just was not finished with his album, so that's different. He was different. Until the 3.5 years, he just wasn't finished. So everybody else is basically
conversation. Rashad got going on. I'm talking about SZA.
Yeah, I'm talking about SZA. That is a long time.
Here's the thing, though. We said if we have a star like Kendrick Lamar, we can't just sit him over there because Mystique dies. Corey, do you know that there are literally Twitter accounts dedicated to trying to find out what haircut he has right now, because we haven't seen this.
No. Yeah, I'm not talking about Kendrick.
When you are of a certain
Kendrick. No, wait. This is my thing. I'm not talking about Kendrick.
Kendrick a megastar.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Kendrick is great. Like Kendrick can. Bro, I saw a picture of Kendrick in Brazil. People follow him down the street. That's different. I'm talking about SZA. They dropped the ball with SZA. SZA. That's what I'm talking about. I don't care about Isaiah Rashad and Kendrick. They go drop when they drop. Listen, SZA was the number one artist who came out who wanted to leave a deal. She didn't like the contract. She didn't like everything that was set up, because even she knew that she wasn't gonna get an opportunity like that again.
You know,
and when you take 2 or 3, Summer Walker.
Summer Walker and Ari came right in. He was like, "Hey, I'll take this lane. You ain't trying to drop no music. I'm
right
gonna drop."
Now. Insecure R&B, vulnerable R&B. That was her lane. And she been high for 3 years. Last time I heard from SZA, she said she doing music with Justin Timberlake. That ain't high.
But TDE artists never come back in the same lane, though, and that's why they take so long, because they redo everything.
That is true.
They're not about to come back with the
It's my thing.
Album.
It's my thing. What if that new lane don't work? Because she took 3 years off and people don't
Shout
care
out to J-Rock.
But
that's it.
J-Rock first lane didn't work. That's the difference. It's funny you made that. Like, use like that chord analogy.
The second lane didn't work.
Yeah, the second lane didn't work either. Using that chord analogy, said that, hey, Kim, just step to the side. It's J-Rock time. That shit made me think of like having LeBron on your team and be like, LeBron, pass the ball to damn, what's that nigga name?
Richard Jefferson.
Not
Mario Chalmers.
No, not Mario Chalmers. Goddamn, what's the nigga on the Lakers? No, the guy on the Lakers that everybody
Kyle
hates.
Kuzma.
No, Caldwell Pope.
Jared.
Caldwell
Pope again. LeBron.
Hey, let Caldwell Pope ISO.
That's Caldwell Pope time.
With the ankle monitor on.
Come on now.
That's a L.
Come on now. Damn, we need a lot of trash.
That's a L, man.
Oh.
I ain't never heard Kendrick complain. It's a reason why. It's a reason why SZA was complaining, because she know what's going on.
Man,
yeah, because Kendrick can do that.
Kendrick complained before she made money.
Kendrick made a career out of that, though. He always takes like a 2-year break in between albums, 3 years, however long it is. SZA,
everybody can be Kendrick.
If I get an album that be like Summer Walker's, let's say Summer Walker, for example, her first album, she came right out with this last album like the next year. Oh, was it 18 to 19 or was it 17 to 19? It was something like that. But she came out relatively pretty quickly, and you know what I'm saying, she was able to ride her way while I was still there, while I was still hot or whatever, until she dropped the ball with the whole insecurity thing or whatever. But that's another story. But she was able to capitalize off of it. I feel like SZA wasn't able to capitalize off of it because of TDE.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I think it's just an investment thing. Because sure, we can get some pretty good responses and sales back from capitalizing off those things. But in every TDE situation, except Crash Talk, when they come back, it's a good investment.
We'll see.
Do you remember Dude Was I Will? Remember that?
Granted, that's because as Absol is an enigma.
That's different.
It was Do What Thou Will was not gonna ever get 1 million streams. Like that shit was never gonna have.
Is that the one with I Love Drugs on it?
Yes, like that's like I like that album. I like that album. But that album was never gonna be commercially successful. Like never.
Oh no, wait, I'm bugging. What was the one before that everybody hated, even me? I forgot the name of it.
What is it?
I purged that damn album from my mind.
Yeah,
it's one he looked like.
I don't never want to name that album.
That was the debut.
God's Reign?
No, that's the second album.
Reign?
No, God's Reign was a song on the album. God's Reign was a song on the album.
I don't remember.
Hey, man, it's forgettable.
I legit erased that memory from my mind.
For good reason. Let's move on.
I like the cover art though.
These days.
But that cover art was kind of hot though.
That's on the artist though. That's on the artist's fault for it not being good.
That was the first like post Kendrick blow up album though.
That was like the first dud. Like that was like the first like dud that like he had dropped once he became famous. Like that was it. Yeah, that was definitely the first dud.
I did not like Habits and Contradictions. I'm sorry.
I think that was after. I think that was before. A lot of people
that was before though.
I think a lot of people liked that album though.
I love Habits and Contradictions.
Yeah, it's good. But all right, moving on to the next topic. I want to talk to you guys about a Pistons legend, but I'm not talking about Blake Griffin this time. I want to talk to you guys about Ben Wallace, who had some comments about Carmelo Anthony. Recently, Carmelo Anthony took to IG, I think it was IG Live with Dwayne Wade, and he was cracking jokes about Darko Milicic, and he was saying, like, if they drafted me, the Pistons drafted me, is it a Darko? We could have won 3 or 4 championships. And Chauncey Billups, got on, I don't know what platform Chauncey Billups got on, but he agreed. He was like, yeah, if we had Melo, we could have won 3 or 4 championships. But Ben Wallace sees it a different way. Ben Wallace said that they would not have won 1 championship if they had drafted Carmelo Anthony instead of Darko Milicic. And he cites that it's because that Melo would have wanted to start immediately, and it would have thrown off the entire chemistry of the team. Are you guys in agreement of Ben Wallace? Do y'all think that Melo would have prevented them from even winning 1 title? Or do y'all feel like they could have actually won multiple titles if they had somebody like Carmelo Anthony on the squad?
I want to say they also made some moves to like get that championship team after drafting Darko as well. So they may not make those moves if if they got Melo, because Melo came onto the scene when he averaged like 20.
No, Rasheed.
Yeah, Rasheed. Yeah, they wouldn't have got.
If you get Melo, you don't get Rasheed. The main reason why they won, honestly.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very plausible that they don't win, but also they might still go and get Rasheed, and they end up winning. It's really hard to do those NBA what ifs because like so many.
Yeah, because like you said, it's like a butterfly effect of like you don't know like you said, you don't know if they necessarily go after Rasheed still or whatever. But I mean, it's really tough in that situation because that was a big reason why they drafted Darko, because Darko was like a real raw like player. Like they drafted him like pretty much like in the hopes of him becoming like a Giannis guy, a guy that like was not ready to play right away. So like he wasn't gonna see like much play time straight away. So they're like, okay, we got this championship ready team, we got this contending team, and then we got this championship window, and then as soon as we busted up, because most of those guys were like in their mid to late 20s at that time anyway. None of those guys were like super young at that point. So it was like as soon as this window is closed or start to closing, we got our building block for the next generation of this team. So it's kind of hard because like you said, Melo was ready for the league right away. So it all depends. And then plus but then at the same time, and then like Larry Brown, I don't think Larry Brown is a proponent of playing young guys. Anyway,
but I'm sure Melo was good enough to play. Like it would, like he would just been killing like in play and like practice and stuff. Like even no matter how hard of a coach you are, if you just that much better than they got, except for Budenholzer for some reason who just doesn't want to start
Kobe White.
Kobe for some reason.
No,
usually you would most NBA coaches, especially if you're in a championship, you're in championship contention, you're gonna start your best players or play your best players. So even if Melo didn't start for them, like
Hey, man.
I could have seen him definitely because he didn't have the ego yet. He was still young. You feel me? He could have gotten there and they still could have won. I feel like.
Well, and that's how I was gonna get it.
We talking about fresh off a championship, Melo.
College championship. No rookie comes in demand. Like I've never seen. I can't think of any NBA rookie who just came in demand. I don't think Melo was just demanding stuff, and he didn't start demanding stuff with the Nuggets until like that third year.
He was fed up.
About 2006, 2007.
Then again, George Karl was wilding too, so that's why
Yeah, he was. He was. I think all coaches.
Melo might have changed his whole career. Benching rookie Melo.
What were you saying, Cam?
I was just gonna say the thing is I was agreeing with your point and like how you said they possibly still could have won. The way I see it working is with good coaches in the NBA, the talent isn't always perfectly matched, but the thing is you make it work. Like, and I feel like with a good coach, because the Larry Brown was the coach of the team, am I right?
Yes, I think it was Larry Brown, and then eventually later on, like 3 years later, Larry Brown was replaced with Flip. Was it Flip?
But that wasn't for a while though.
But my whole thing with that is I feel like he could have made the talent that Carmelo had fit the team and fit what they needed. I definitely feel like Carmelo was
because they needed offense. Like I don't remember their team just being like prolific on offense.
So
I just remember them like locking everybody up.
When Larry was there, which is the year they won, and then like the subsequent years afterward, they were like 15th, 17th, 20th in the league in offense. When he left and Flip was there, they were like top 5 in offense, top 5 in defense for like 3 or 4 years. But they couldn't win. But that's what I'm saying. Imagine Melo was on the team. No, but they didn't win anything. So that's what I'm saying. If you had Melo on those teams, at the very least, Melo at that time, was a great player. To have him on those teams would have been something. Because like Melo was like the first or second best player on a Nuggets team that made it to the Western Conference Finals.
Early.
Have had him on a roster like the Pistons, who were just a dynamic defensive team, and you have Melo doing all the scoring on the offensive end.
It's basically what the 76ers were in 2001 for AI, where they had basically an entire team of defenders, and they just threw one guy was like, hey, just go get buckets. You know what I'm saying? This is your job is to get buckets. And Melo definitely is going to do that. And
even if they didn't want that from Melo, Melo was a rookie. He had never played in the NBA. Melo could have been a completely different player from the way we perceive him now. Like we never saw Melo as a team first guy or a guy to fit into a system. If he played for the Pistons, who had a large group of veterans with title aspirations, who said we need you to play a role and you fit in this role, we'll win. I feel like Melo, being the young guy on the team, wouldn't have been bumping heads with the old heads on the team. I feel like he would have followed suit with them and possibly play within his role, and they would have won a title. They definitely won a title first year. Like a rookie ain't gonna come in and botch you from winning that one title. Like I doubt Melo gonna play 30 minutes over like those other guys. Like he wasn't like that good to demand that as a rookie. Especially, you know what I'm saying?
On a team like that.
Yeah, on a team like that. Yeah. Like
he would look like Jason Tatum.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly.
Too, like what? Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say. That fast.
It happens, man. So that's why I said I think that Melo would have been fine. I think it would definitely
win that ring. Good to have.
So what?
Yeah, I was saying injuries good to have. Injuries good to have. Maybe Tayshaun Prince get hurt. He missed 20 games. Carmelo Anthony pop in, put up 19, 22 points a game. Changes everything, Yeah. Wait, I got a better what if. What if the Pistons? You saw it?
No, go ahead, Cole. Go ahead.
Bro, what if the Pistons drafted Melo? And then made the Miami Heat go, all right, man, we need somebody to play the 4th spot. And instead of them drafting Michael Beasley, they get Kevin Love, D Wade, and they trade for Shaq.
Well, you in your Corzimba bag right now, ain't it?
Oh God.
You in your Corzimba bag. Hey.
Then you gonna have
You
just have way bad knees and Kevin Love broke back. So I don't know where we're going with this.
And then also
Kevin Love, D Wade.
Why would they have taken Melo instead of? Why would they have taken Kevin Love rather than Michael Beasley though? Because I guess they're kind of similar in a way, but I guess Michael Beasley.
Hey man, Michael Beasley was a beast in college.
Bro, he was a bucket, man. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. Like in college, man, he was a bucket, man.
So
just don't know.
Go ahead. Question I was gonna ask you: what do you like? Did Ben Wallace have any like reasoning of why he said what he said?
He said chemistry. He said that he don't feel like that he said he feel like Melo was going to throw up the entire chemistry of the team. He said that he feels like Melo wouldn't have been okay with taking a back seat to all those veteran players. He would have expected to play a significant amount, which would have disrupted the good thing that they had going on, which is valid. But
that's Ricky. Like I've never I can't remember. I can't speak on it like per se, but I'm pretty sure like no rookie has ever came in and was just like, unless they was on like a terrible team, you know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm on a terrible team and I'm not getting playing time, then yeah, I'll probably be a little disgruntled. But if we were winning, like winning cures all. Like that's like the truest thing ever if you're in sports. Like if you're winning, it hides everything.
I think too much of this hypothetical is surrounded around what Melo is now and what he has been, rather than what he could have been if he had just joined the Pistons from the get-go. Because they're trying to say, yeah, Carmelo Anthony, the Olympic gold medalist Carmelo Anthony, one of the best scorers in NBA history, Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, he ain't gonna come off the bench, but a young 19 to 20-year-old Carmelo Anthony gonna tell the coach, "I'm not coming off the bench." No, nigga, you gonna come off the bench. It's all-stars.
Exactly.
It's all-stars in front of you. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I don't think it would have been a problem, but I don't know why Ben Wallace. I don't know. Maybe more people in the league don't like Carmelo Anthony than we thought. But
or maybe there was a toxic locker room and we just don't know.
That is true. And they got Carmelo with a do-rag was gonna cause more problems. Word to George Call.
Thanks.
Fatherless hoopers.
We
got Ben Wallace said we got enough orphans in the locker room. We don't need another one. But
niggas with braids.
Facts.
Exactly. That's what it was. Some nigga with braids.
Braids.
Hell no, we need that in Detroit.
There can only be two.
But all right. Speaking of chemistry issues, there's one last topic we have left. I want to talk to you guys about the Utah Jazz. And I want to talk to you guys. So basically, Utah Jazz now have an internal beef between Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, where Donovan Mitchell seems to be reluctant to reconcile with Rudy Gobert, who single-handedly destroyed the NBA. Rudy Gobert contracted the coronavirus, and then he touched 18 different tape recorders, which then infected 18 different. I'm mean, stop.
Oh my god.
Let me stop spreading this information. But Rudy Gobert basically got coronavirus, and then shortly after, Donovan Mitchell got tested for it, and he was found positive for coronavirus as well. A lot of people keep saying that we can't be sure that Donovan Mitchell got it from him. Even the team says they've been trying to tell Donovan Mitchell the same thing. But since Donovan Mitchell seems very reluctant to make amends with Rudy Gobert, it seems like to me that Rudy Gobert must have been doing some wild shit in that locker room leading up to Donovan Mitchell getting sick. Like he must have been like giving niggas wet willies, like putting it in their ears and shit like that. Niggas must have been like throwing his towel over people's heads and some shit.
Niggas was hiding niggas' shoes when they get back from
walking in, them niggas in the shower.
Hell yeah, man! Like slapping niggas on the ass.
Niggas was stealing towels while they was taking a shower.
Like Rudy Gobert had to be doing some crazy shit in order for the players to be like, you know what? Yeah, we all got sick at the same time. It couldn't have been Rudy's fault. Niggas, he must have been doing shit specific. Like playing around saying, y'all ain't gonna get it. Why y'all so scared of me? In order for, damn, this nigga is Dwight Howard. Crazy. This is Dwight Howard shit. But
he boy, a French bioterrorist. I see it.
So, do you guys feel like that this is a situation that needs to be amended? Do you feel like Donovan Mitchell needs to get over it and that they need to move on, or do you feel like they got to move on for Rudy Gobert?
Better question. Who's on the trade block? Are you getting rid of? Who's more valuable to the team? Donovan or Rudy?
So that's the question.
So we can all agree that somebody needs to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love chaos, so yeah.
I can't blame Donovan. I'm gonna say this. They should reconcile. I don't think that. I can't say Donovan Mitchell should stay mad. I don't know, because Donovan Mitchell probably thinking like, I could have went home and get this shit to my grandma or something like.
Yeah, that's what he a really family oriented person. That's what I think it is. That's kind of like, and I take him as a serious person as well. So
yeah, he probably was like, he probably think like I couldn't like probably see certain members of my family because of you. So yeah, I probably will never reconcile. With that being said, if there's gonna be this rift, then you got to move them. But more importantly, like some people on Twitter are trying to say is they think that maybe he's using this as an excuse to get rid of Rudy Gobert because maybe Rudy Gobert is ass. Rudy Gobert is gearing up. Like He's getting near. It's time. He's almost close to getting a super max deal extension in 2022. Yeah, Rudy Gobert. Like he's getting close. It's getting time for his his extension. And so
you talking about the defensive player of the year that can't be played in the playoffs? Getting a super max?
That guy.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So potentially he could be eligible for $44 million a year, $201 million supermax extension if he sticks around.
How much?
201 million supermax extension will be coming.
For French Clint Capella?
For French Clint Capella.
Okay.
French has seen the
Rudy Gobert. Niggas be like, all right, Rudy Gobert, here's $44 million. You the guys.
So the thing is, like, eventually they're going to make a hard decision anyway. They're going to just because Rudy Gobert's going to ask for it. He's going to have to. I mean, naturally, you're going to if you have $44 million as an option, you're going to ask for it. So the Jazz got to make a decision. Do we pay this guy $44 million? Because he is quintessential to their team. Like their teams, like the defensive metrics show that Rudy Gobert drastically increases the Utah Jazz defense, and he's a vital key to why they win games. But you don't want to pump that much resources into a guy that can't play in the playoffs, like Jacquez said. So I think that they got to. I think like this is perfect. This is the perfect excuse to get rid of this nigga. Like trade him. Nobody would blame you if you traded him and y'all became maybe a little bit worse this year. But you don't want to invest that much money in a center, even if not a center who can't do anything in the playoffs.
Huge facts.
So definitely him. Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's a young scoring guard with
who plays good defense.
Yes.
And facts.
And in a league,
nigga, the two guard, he only 6'1".
He is short.
I'm just shaking the table. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Neither one of them are the perfect option.
No, but Donovan Mitchell plays bigger than he is. I'll give him that much. Like I don't too much really watch games to see like Donovan Mitchell being overwhelmed with size. So I don't think it'd be too big of an issue compared to Rudy Gobert, who can't even. He got outplayed by Clint Capella multiple times. And Clint Capella isn't even that good. Like to be just getting outplayed by
that nigga suck.
he got outplayed by Kevin Looney. He got outplayed by Kevin Looney. Come on, now.
In the same playoffs.
In the same playoffs. How you get outplayed by somebody that got outplayed by Kevin Looney? Come on.
Yeah.
Social math says that shouldn't happen. But
hey man, Kevin Looney's a champion. Don't do that.
Hey.
You're right. I'm sorry. My bad.
You're right. Both of them niggas. But to your point, Dylan, that means some other two niggas.
Lottery player now.
So at the very least, you could get Kevin Looney for cheaper, significantly cheaper. You got champion. You got world champion Kevin Looney on your team, but not $44 million. That's all I'm saying.
Rudy Gobert.
Like I just think what the Clippers did, where they got close to where they could have gave DeAndre Jordan max, and they were so scared to do it. And it's because DeAndre Jordan's gonna be like 21. 20, like he'll be like 30, 31, 32 on those deals. Like, nigga, you're a super athletic big man. So what happens when you lose your athleticism?
Is it?
Yeah, that's just a wrap. So we're not about to invest all this money in you. Instead, we're going to marching Gortat be center for a year and be horrible. And then we're going to find a slight replacement in a young guy like Zubac for like $8 million a year. So that's what I think the Jazz can do. They're going to just have to go to Rudy Gobert, suffer for 1 year, and then they'll bounce back by having a decent center.
I seen it.
It's funny.
Rudy Gobert.
Who's in Jacquez?
I seen a 3-team trade with the Celtics and Sixers that worked out pretty decently.
The return to Hayward.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. The Celtics don't want that nigga, man. Like I said, like the Celtics were doing so well with all their wings. Like that just shows you how not valuable the center position is, to the extent that you don't need a Rudy Gobert. You can just have a stopgap center as long as the wing players are good enough. And that's what the Celtics are doing. Like you got your
disrespecting Daniel Theis, Jordan. That's what we doing in this podcast. So we doing this fine Easter Sunday.
Put some respect on
that's
his
what
name.
we're doing.
Daniel Theis get the job done. He'll never be a max
High
player.
IQ, sneaky athleticism. Don't disrespect him.
Shout out Daniel Theis though.
I think getting Rudy Gobert before you have to pay him will be good for the Celtics though, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like I said, they get him now would mean you got to give up Jalen or Hayward.
No, Hayward. I definitely give up Hayward.
Man, y'all don't ship him back.
But I'm saying, like, y'all think I can get a better player than Rudy Gobert for Hayward?
He a 2-time defensive player of the year, Jordan. What you mean?
But
Jordan.
They can't play in the
Jordan Hayward
playoffs.
averages like 14 points, dog.
Boston's main problem is that they don't have elite rim protection.
My point is,
literally their only problem. Literally the only
problem.
But my point is he can't defend the goal in the playoffs, so that will still be their problem.
We forget something though. They have Brad Stevens. The Wizard coach, and also they got enough pieces to make adjustments on defense. You got 50 wings. If you can sit Rudy down for 3 minutes, I say do it. That's a missing beast. And also, when you going against Giannis, exactly. This all I'm saying. You gotta go against Philly. You gotta go against Milwaukee. You gotta go against Miami. You gotta go against Indiana. Those are very big teams. Rudy Gobert on the Eastern Conference will be a monster. I get that perimeter defense really matters, but in order for the Celtics to get to an NBA Finals, they need somebody to stop everybody at the rim.
I'm gonna say what?
That's Rudy.
They needed Rudy Gobert to stop Clint Capella, and he didn't. That's what I'm telling y'all. That's what I'm telling y'all. They needed him to stop him, and he didn't.
That's different.
That ain't different. That nigga works.
That's different. The Rockets is a different team, Jordan. You ain't got to worry about the Rockets in the Eastern playoffs.
I guess
not seeing the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs for at least 2 years.
Nah, at least 4. You right, though.
I'm sorry, Trey.
Niggas out here.
I'm sorry, Trey.
The Hawks. Man. Kind of Easter Sunday is.
Hey, man.
What kind of Easter Sunday?
Orlando ain't folding no time soon.
Jesus, well.
Orlando be holding on to that AC.
Hey, man, nigga gonna be hurt, man, when the Warriors trade that first pick. They get Rudy Gobert.
Niggas have Rudy Gobert and Andrew Wiggins on the same team.
Whole timeline gonna switch up. Looking like a
Hey, man.
We gonna be
when Andrew Wiggins turns into 2015 Harrison Barnes, y'all gonna be shaking in y'all boots. Y'all gonna be shaking in y'all boots.
Bruh. Rudy Gobert set a screen for Steph Curry. You give him 3 centimeters of space, it's a wrap. That was
30 screen assists a game.
Yes, sir.
30 screen assists.
You better continue to lead the league in screen assists.
Oh,
hey,
shit.
Man, that Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert pick and roll gonna be it's gonna be deadly. It's gonna be deadly.
Shout out to Donovan Mitchell for overcoming
the slander they go give out to the rest of the league as a duo. And he finna get Golden State another 3 rings. I'm mad now.
Ooh, boy. Ooh, shit. All right, guys. We only got one topic left, and that's fan questions. That's all we have left. So give me a second to pull these fan questions up.
Man, why you do that? Come on now. So this don't sound like a good lineup. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins. Well, I'm sorry. Draymond Green and Rudy Gobert. That's a solid 5.
That's tough, man. It's tough.
Athletic wing that doesn't play defense. The best 2-way shooting guard in the league. And the best point guard in the league. Come on, Jordan.
I'm scared.
That's solid.
All right, so here's the first fan question.
Terrified.
It's from Quan King 20 on Twitter, and he asks, I want to see our opinions on the MVP award. A lot of people say it's meaningless half the time because it's a regular season award. I feel like it holds way more value under the surface. Players always want to play with the MVP winner, a definite plus for free agents who want to win. So do we feel like the MVP award has lost its meaning, or do y'all feel like it's just significant in the league?
I don't feel like it's lost its meaning because when we go back to when somebody retires and we look at their accolades, we be like, oh yeah, LeBron 4-time MVP, and then people always like to bring up 5-time MVP. So
AI 1-time MVP.
Yeah, like
Niggas
AI
love that MVP, boy. Niggas love that 2001 MVP.
I feel like it's definitely not overrated, but I just feel like the way we go about giving it out should be reconsidered.
So are you one of those people who believe that the MVP should be given out at the end of the season, like at the end of postseason, as in the MVP should include postseason play as well? But then again, that's Finals MVP, so no.
That's Finals MVP.
Yeah.
I was about to say that's Finals MVP, and I won't agree with that because if that was a case, a lot of people probably would have given Kawhi MVP last season, and definitely. I feel like he shouldn't have won it last season.
Mm-hmm. So I do think the MVP needs to go back to be given out between regular season and postseason. Like, at the end, so then like MVP got that chip on his shoulder going into the playoffs. Like, other players got that chip on their shoulder. Like, oh, I didn't get MVP.
He's gonna get it right.
I'm about to show you why I should have gotten it rather than having it at the end of the season. Everything's said and done at the end of the season. So I think that's why people care less about it actually being given out. Because by that time, I also think that by that time we already figured out who's gonna get it. So it's like, so when they do give it, it's like, well, Giannis got an MVP. We don't care, nigga. We just got the Finals MVP. Like,
exactly.
Right.
We don't want the ring.
I was about to say, who wants like, especially if like the MVP is like somebody who doesn't win a championship. It's like, why would I want a ring? Like, why would I want an award like 2 weeks after watching somebody, parade down the street? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see that.
But the award itself still has value because Giannis is still being revered as an MVP. He's going to be revered as one of the best players in the league after winning it. James Harden's revered as one of the best players in the league because of his MVP. Steph is revered as one of the best players ever because of his back-to-back MVPs. We're talking about Steve Nash right now. His back-to-back MVPs. We're talking about his career 10 years after the fact because of how great he was. Like, the MVPs very much still do matter in the grand scheme of things and like in the context of history. It just feels meaningless. Yeah. It feels pointless to give it out a week. Like the context of giving it out a week after the championship just seems dumb. That's kind of diminishing a little bit.
I guess it's for that award show. Isn't that why they do it? Because they want to make it like an award show.
Make more money.
Yeah, they want to make money off of it.
They could have the award show before the playoffs.
Facts.
But see, like players and like coaches like
that make too much sense though.
But like players and coaches saying like we're prepping for the playoffs, like we don't
we're prepping for the playoffs. Nobody got time to be thinking about that.
Man.
All I'm saying is this.
They should just give a shit at halftime during the first playoff game, like they always did. Like that's all they need to do.
Like on 2K?
like they used to. That's all they gotta do. But moving on to the next question, we got a question from B. Verastro, the homie Brandon. He says, "Is Currency's catalog the smoothest ever?" In my opinion, word to Currency, word to Lou Will, I'm some of the coolest niggas on the planet. Like I think Currency makes some of the coolest music. Like just like chill nigga vibes. So yeah.
Hey, you know what? Every weed smoker I've ever talked to, Currency is always in their top 5. So
yeah, he's cool. Like maybe Wiz definitely could fit that mold. His music is very chill and cool too.
It's great driving music. Like, you making a long drive, man. Currency. That's a good
man.
The epitome of vibes. The epitome of vibes.
Facts.
When niggas say vibes, I think of them. I can't think of a cooler rapper like just like the.
It's really him.
Yeah. When I listen to, I just think coolness. That's what I think. I feel like I said cool too many times in one sentence. That didn't sound cool.
Yeah, you gotta chill out.
Yeah, I'm choral. It was choral. The next question we have is from Daniel. Shout out to the homie Daniel. Is anyone still listening to Rhapsody's album?
Actually, you know what? I you're wilding, but yes, I listened to it. I listened to a couple songs off of it the other day. But I will say
that man Daniel got so much hate in his heart.
Man, if it ain't Nicki, it ain't it. Or Doja.
I swear he had to do that.
That man got so much hate in his heart, bro.
I ain't gonna lie. I laugh when I read this question because I have not. After that first week of listening to the album, I have not listened to it since. I think there's like 3 songs in there I revisit. I can't remember the names of them now.
I go back to the song Queen Latifah. How she put.
Yeah.
Here's my question for y'all.
Layla's Wisdom is so much better. So much a better album, in my opinion. Yeah. So I listen to that a lot more than I listen to this last one. But
do y'all really listen to albums like 9 months later, like all your albums?
No.
Or you listen to Jacquez, you listen to like 2 albums from last year, or you listen to like all the albums from last year?
I get you. I listen probably like 4 or 5. Like I listen to Astroworld a lot, like its entirety. I listen to Thank Me Later and Nothing Was the Same in its entirety a lot. I listen to Pimp a Butterfly in its entirety a lot.
I just think so much music comes out nowadays that like unless music actually hits that upper echelon of your personal like discography, then you're not going to be listening to albums like 10 months later. You're not.
And it's all about like how you feeling. Like most of the time, it's like, damn, I ain't heard this. Like I hear a song, like, damn, I ain't heard that in a while. Like you'll be playing something in the party, and I'll be like, you know what, I want to go listen to that album now.
Yeah, listen to the whole album, right?
Benny, Rico, sometimes Doja because it came out in December, and Freddie a couple songs. The only albums I still like listen to from last year, and that's because they just hit that point for me. I'm not listening to like every album I like still.
Let me see.
I was about to say too because like as far as good albums go, like I'll recognize that album is good, I like it, but because like I consume so much music, the only albums like I would like constantly revisit, it's maybe 4 albums tops a year. Like albums I listen to like every other week. Like I'll just like listen to like, hey, Jordan, you listen to this album recently? I'm like, yeah, I listened to it recently. There's probably like on like 4 albums per year.
I want to know those albums, Jordan. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm saying like it's per year, like it's different. Like so in 2019, like I'm saying like in 2019, it was Freddie album, it was Bandana. I can't remember the other. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what else I listened to. Like
Close I'm it.
Like no. So like the year that Saba album came out, 2018. Like I listened to that album all year long, like throughout the year. Like, I would just like randomly turn it on. That's how much I enjoyed that project, and like personally to myself. But I don't think I had it as the best album last year. I think I had like a couple of albums, but it's usually like only the top 5 releases in a given year that I listen to like throughout the year because it's just that good. Like Lon said. On the flip side, the rest of the albums, like albums I even think like top 10, I might listen to it like maybe once every couple of months after hearing it initially. I don't just like listen to. There's no way you can listen to every album you hear in a given year every single day.
Oh, of course. And then in the shuffle button, you know, it's a blessing.
That's true too.
So.
I've gotten in the habit of like listening to albums from beginning to end, so that's why I say every once in a while I throw shuffle on. I'm like, I want to see what the hell going on in my own.
You know what's funny about that Rhapsody song, that song Aaliyah? It's like the first song. It's the first song with an A. So I hear it every single time I get in my car. So now I hate that song with like a passion. I get tired of hearing it.
The curse of the A. Let's see. I think
ADHD with Kendrick.
ADHD,
man.
ADHD, 18 by Travis.
What's that song with
Atomic Bomb?
What's the song with I gotta find it now.
Let's see. The current A song in my library is now APIDTA by J Electronica.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
man, Ace with Samino and Saba and No Name. Man, I got tired of hearing that song, dog. I almost deleted it. I got tired of hearing it.
At least you gotta do something about that.
I got ABG by Quando Rondo. And
that nigga be bumping Quando Rondo. That's how you be living, Cam?
Oh God, Cam.
Hey, you know.
Oh, my current one is All Day, Kanye West.
I had that at one point.
That is loud. That is a loud song. It doesn't even sound like a song. It's just noise at first.
Like shit just scared me.
It's like that's not music.
Like I'll be in my car and I'm cranking the engine up. I'm just chilling. Like she just like I forgot how loud I had it last time I was in the car.
That's the worst.
And that shit just start blaring. Like
God, that's the worst.
Especially like if it's like early in the morning.
For that. But that's all the fan questions we have. That's all the topics we have. That's all I have. You guys got any closing thoughts before we go?
Hey man, what you ranking Jaheim at? Facts.
Popular Man Movies episode dropping this week.
This week?
This week.
Oh yeah.
This week.
We talked about
right.
All right.
We got content.
Yeah, this week.
We talking about everything.
Hey, is Cam muted?
Am I muted? No. I was about to say, we talked about Blake Griffin. Shout out to Taylor Griffin, his brother that played for the Suns.
Facts.
I forgot about that.
So Suns
legend. You know, shouts out to Taylor Griffin. Shouts out to him. I watched that Steph Curry game. We play that Steph Curry Blake Griffin college game like every other day now since we in quarantine.
So, all right, that's all we got. Tune in next week for another episode of your favorite podcast. See you then.